Alex Ansary here, coming to you from northern New Mexico. And I actually made the decision to do a series on Alex Jones, an honest series on Alex Jones, without pulling punches, without taking down the videos. And because of this recent, what I call a partnership with Donald Trump to push the narrative, which we'll talk about, which I will talk about in this video. But I already made this decision to do an Alex Jones playlist prior to the recent events. And this isn't the first time that I have felt intuitively inside that there's a certain direction that I need to go in with the videos, or, a certain something that I need to talk about. I think that a lot of us have that inner knowing when there's a disaster around the corner, or when certain things happen and we get a flash of insight. And I think that I need to be acting on that even more as time goes on. There is a greater reality that I believe to be the truth, but I will not speak down to you, to the people that watch this video, and I will not yell at you and say that I have and that I possess the ultimate truth. However, with my geopolitical warnings about China, I've been consistent since at least 2008. It's now 2015. I'm 35 now. I was 28 then, when I was several years into my Access TV show, Outside the Box. And I'm talking about the plans for the Third World War. And I'm specifically saying that Putin will play a popular leader, but he'll be a deceiver. And I'm not using like biblical references. I'm speaking from the heart. The deception that I see coming. And events that will lead to an occupation by foreign forces. China, Russia, and perhaps their allies. And I think that there's a number of people in this country that have seen the same thing. Now, I'm going to talk about that scenario, but it's as if Alex Jones and Donald Trump somehow are a part of the agenda to mislead America, misdirect America, encourage that Americans go out and commit acts of violence with Donald Trump, the Muslim database. You can watch the interview for yourself between Alex Jones and Donald Trump. It feels just ugly to even address this topic because there's so much to it. But you should be aware of the talking points, the narrative that they're pushing. Muslims are the number one threat at the top of the list, and then you can go from there. You can watch the Alex Jones, Donald Trump interview for yourself, but the highlights relate to Muslims being the number one threat, him comparing Trump to George Washington. You get to meet a new Alex Jones that in reality the old Alex Jones warned us all about. And I'm going to talk about that later. But in brief, I came across the Alex Jones material in 2002. And so that whole argument about, but he's done good things, I've done that argument time and time over. And, I have a lot of things that I can even discuss about Alex Jones in general, but in its proper time and place. But just a caveat, that's how far back I have been aware of his content. Started my own TV show in 2004, 2005. Actually went down to meet Alex Jones in 2005. Interviewed him at Austin Cable Access. Also on the phone. Never thought the guy really liked me. That's a whole other story and really unrelated. But I think as time goes on, I understand a little bit more as to why Alex Jones never liked me. And why Alex Jones has stuck with a very specific narrative about the New World Order. There are different perspectives on Alex Jones, the gatekeeper, the redirector. And what I will say is, I've never been tight with Alex Jones, but we did those early interviews, and it was at least 2008, 2007, 8, 9 that I think he really started changing towards the dark side. And it was incremental, but I guess the influence, I suppose, I've always been interested in different speakers and radio hosts. But I think it wasn't until like 3 years ago or 4 years ago that I completely stepped away, or began to completely step away from InfoWars content. It's been at least many years since I've been listening to the radio show, but there was a period where I might go and watch some of his broadcasts, or some of the broadcasts from his reporters. And the quality of that content has continued to go down and down with, and I need to save some of this for later, but the outrageous commercials with the wild claims on top of it, insulting to the intelligence of the viewer. I mean, how can you really be confident in your, or really be happy with your alternative media selections and think that you're thinking for yourself, when people that are still on the InfoWars train are in a mind-controlled conditioning process? There's plenty of people out there that have woken up to a certain level of awareness about this control structure, which we'll call it loosely, the control structure, because the greater conspiracy is real. However, I never really thought that Alex Jones was a part of the conspiracy theory. And I think a big part of it is with a spirit and a soul being co-opted to something evil. Not necessarily just what people think that it is. And I can't say that it's not Alex Jones working with the CIA or the FBI. I think there's something even bigger than that, though. When it comes to intelligence agencies and the New World Order, working for groups, playing out a role because someone's paying you to play out that role. And someone's making sure that you're never taken off the air, and that your website acts as a database for all the visitors. And I'm not going to rehash just things that I've read off the internet, because there's plenty of things that things have been written about Alex Jones on the internet, and things people have said that is more of the conspiracy pop culture itself. The Alex Jones conspiracies that go on for miles and miles and miles. Again, I've been one of those individuals that I talked about all the good that he has done to awaken people. When people have trolled me in the past 5 years ago, said, why would you have on this guest that's also been on the Alex Jones show? Because on Outside the Box, I would have on certain guests. And, it's not bragging, but the truth is, I had James David Manning on and several people on, Joel Skousen, in studio first, before Alex Jones. And so instead of him viewing me as maybe someone on the same side, because I thought we were just part of a cooperative to expose the New World Order, I didn't really realize as a younger man how sociopathic he actually was. And I think he became more psychotic, more power hungry, more Napoleon-like as time went on. I think that there was some goodness in him in the earlier years of InfoWars, along with the darkness. And I'm going to psychoanalyze this and what it was like watching his tapes for the first time, the early impact on me and my psychology, and some of the things that I attribute to my tapping in more to my own information and knowledge, and also my forecast for where things are going. As I alluded to earlier, there's this plan for World War III where China and Russia are not the good guys, nor is the U.S. There's a larger plan coming, and it is occupation of American soil, like the old Alex Jones used to warn us about before this new Alex Jones walked in the door, walked in the studio. And honestly, this racially driven narrative, putting out stuff about 9/11 and having someone on that's saying that Muslims are dancing, celebrating 9/11. We need to have a Muslim database. Again, we're talking Donald Trump now. You need to watch the interview for yourself if you can stomach it, or find a edited, maybe I need to do it myself. So you don't have to watch the full thing. You need to see the bullet points. You need to see the narrative. Because if you know the old Alex Jones, even if you didn't like the old Alex Jones, the old Alex Jones compared to the new Alex Jones, I mean, these are not the same. He may have the same voice. He may have the same website. It ain't the same dude. I mean, it's literally the same body, I think. I'm not trying to go too far out there, folks. It's like it's not even the same person. He's changed. And I've been studying the gradual change in him for years without saying anything, knowing the good work that they do. Seeing him, in my eyes, for at least 4 years, though, as a potential Russian agent. Now, I think that's laughable. I think some of you might find that laughable because you've been programmed, and you're going to have to stay with me, folks. Follow the train of thought. There are no good guys in World War III, not China, Russia, or the United States. The whole Russian popularity thing is by design. Now, you may disagree with that, but I've been on record for at least 4 or 5 years saying that. And that RT is a part of this mind control machine. And there was a reason why RT and Alex Jones were like this for a long time. And why a lot of the guests that you saw on RT for a while were Alex Jones guests. Because there was some sort of overlap. Now, maybe they parted ways because they thought, you know what, we probably shouldn't be this so closely aligned. Alex Jones being kind of a sociopath, though, in real life, it's likely there were some personal differences between himself and RT. Just because Alex Jones is Alex Jones. You know, he probably flipped out on one of those female reporters. Who knows what happened there. But RT is pushing that pro-Putin, anti-US, anti-Western New World Order, but pro-Eastern New World Order. It's bait and switch. Somehow or another, Alex Jones has been playing into that narrative in recent years. The pro-Russia, pro-East, everything's just about demonizing the U.S. And that was suspicious enough because the old Alex Jones knew about the corrupt communist Chinese. You know, even in Endgame, he had that little segment about corrupt China and the genocide. So you can't be someone that's exposed that aspect of reality and also talked about the Soviets and Russia in the past, to literally flip-flop and have a guy like Trump on, and you know, in a 2000 episode of The Simpsons, they have someone who looks and sounds exactly like Trump, who's running, I mean, there's your predictive programming and many other examples. That was also the year that, you know, of course, the only time where Alex Jones sees Russia as a threat is if he's potentially coked up on the air. Who knows what was going on in that Y2K transmission where he's talking about World War III. So the one time that you don't drink the Kool-Aid about Russia being all good and everything is, you know, some New Year's Eve thing where you're making claims that the shit's going down when in fact it wasn't. Now, instead of having healthy skepticism towards claims that Russia is really killing all the ISIS targets. I mean, and how do people say out of one side of their mouth, oh, all ISIS is ran by the United States and Israel, then out of the other side of your mouth, you applaud Russia striking ISIS targets. I mean, how do people see how this couldn't lead to World War III? There's a lot of things to bring up in that little thought there that's lingering. How do people just believe what Russia's saying just because they don't want to believe what the U.S. is saying, which doesn't make me a fan of this system or the corruption taking place here? I mean, there are millions of victims of war in Iraq and Afghanistan. It's at least in the hundreds of thousands in Afghanistan. Where is the sense of remorse at the bloodshed? Especially from those that have been highlighting information about the New World Order, rightfully so, the last decade. It's as if something's happening to their humanity, something is happening to their soul. I mean, think about being someone like Alex Jones that's built up your whole thing for most of your career about false flag tears, staged events, staged wars, crony capitalism, Wall Street, you know, stuff in the air, stuff in the food, New World Order takeover. And even though he won't talk about the non-human potential, you know, aspect of this, I know some of you are on that level. Just stay with me here. But David Icke and others are. So he'll have certain people on. I'm not saying all these people have all the answers. I know some of you are going to comment off topic. The point is, he's more like a buffet. I'm just going to have lots of different weird stuff on just to keep the ratings up with a little bit of truth. But then there's been this stuff that's been kind of there for years that people, these are really weird claims that Alex Jones has made about the elite marrying horses, or, you know, it could be this outrageous claim or that erroneous, outrageous claim. There are so many of them. And so the conspiracy is real, and that there's a new world order. There are false flags and staged events. But what comes up, what needs to be questioned is how truthful the Alex Jones narrative about the conspiracy has been. And so there's certain things that are obviously what they are, deceptions. And then the Alex Jones version, and of course, there are sacrifices out there. But with him, again, everything has just been diverted to, you know, elusive secret societies that he can't really pinpoint. Broad and very specific claims at the same time that he can't back up about certain groups doing certain things. Bohemian Grove aside, and people wondering how he was able to even get that video to begin with, and whether or not it is legitimate, I'm not really questioning that. I don't see his story to be that far off with regards to Bohemian Grove because it was 2000 before the internet. I think it is very possible that he did infiltrate. You know, but then he goes on RT later and makes a really big deal about all these men that wanted to come up and have sex with him. It almost seems like he was exaggerating that particular aspect of it years later. More than what he had said, for sure, than at the time of making Bohemian Grove, which was around the time of 1999, 2000, I believe. And then, of course, there was another version released later on. So he takes stuff, a little bit of truth, and takes it to a weird place. This thing with Trump, to me, is like a conditioning thing to where he's already gotten his viewership to believe absurd things. And he and Watson have been putting out the narrative about the mass rape of Europe on the part of Muslim men, as if that's the #1 story in Europe. And I think grossly stretching the facts, in addition to that, to marginalize these groups coming in. Now, why would Paul, Alex, and even people like Jeff Rentz and other people on the internet that should know better, why would they fall for this? Why would they fall for this chapter out of the Albert Pike Handbook for World War III, which we probably should review? What was it that Albert Pike said? I know somebody's going to copy and post it in the comment section, and I welcome that. Let's go over Albert Pike and his little forecast for World War III. Now, I think where things are going is a war with China and Russia by design to bring America to its knees. And the old Alex Jones warned us about this. Warned us about America being used to destroy America. But here he is with Trump. Trump's talking about, go out, get the oil, go out, get the minerals, just get it. We don't need to be politically correct. We don't need to be worried about who we kill. Let's just put them in the camps. Let's get the minerals. Let's get the oil. Let's make America strong again. America, like, let's play out that meme and go to a level beyond Fox News hatred. Now, Bill O'Reilly is not a man of compassion, but even Bill O'Reilly's on Fox News going, oh, I don't know about a ban on all Muslims. Seriously? Now, that's all fake. I also want to mention, on a side note, you're seeing fake compassion from warmongers. Okay? Be it the president, be it Loretta Lynch, be it Bill O'Reilly. I mean, even the Young Turks are all about, well, Cenk doesn't like it because, well, he's from Turkey. So Cenk from the Young Turks, he's going to speak out against what's happening now because Turkey's involved. Where were you? No, where were you, Cenk? Really? Seriously, you really put Obama's feet to the fire because of the drone attacks, civilian drone attacks, 9 out of 10 civilians, Pakistan, Yemen, Afghanistan, other places around the world. More innocent people than even suspected terrorists, murdered at the hands of a drone. Where's the outrage about that? Where's the outrage been? We've been asking for years, Cenk. But, you know, it's like by even suggesting that to mainstream Democrats, oh, we're conspiracy theorists. We're talking about drone attacks. Who does that? That's just weird. No, we were never wrong. We were never wrong when we said they were killing innocent people. This whole time, we were never wrong. And that was just a known fact. Sucks to be Afghani and stuck over there. Here's a handkerchief and some fake compassion. Let's act because it's politically right now, like we care. They've been demonizing Muslims for a long time. So now in Canada and other places, you're seeing a rise in attacks on Muslims and Muslim women. And I called it on this YouTube channel. This whole new world order thing is about controlling the lives of women worldwide. But they implement it in different ways. There's ways they control the black woman, the white woman, the Hispanic woman, and the Middle Eastern woman. There's ways they put her in danger. So they act like they're friends to the Middle Eastern people. You know, I've met people in Middle Eastern backgrounds that do not speak out about the issues that matter. They do not research 9/11. There's many Muslims that are very pro-America, you know, posting selfies on Facebook. There's plenty of American Muslims and Muslims around the world, women that don't wear veils. Even Jeff Prince is like, are these real Muslims? She's coming in with makeup. Yes, there's Muslims that wear makeup. Now, it's real amazing. There's all these Americans lining up acting like they're radical Muslims saying, no, you can't be Muslim and be nonviolent. You can't be Muslim and wear makeup. You're not a real Muslim. You're an actor. And it's sick, folks. I'm here to tell you, you're under a demonic spell if your thoughts are filled with this hatred all the time, thinking that Islam is the #1 threat. That's what Alex Jones and Trump are doing. They have shifted the narrative. They're pushing the narrative. And this is all going on while this National Front, far-right political party, gets elected in France. It's like this coordinated. And then over time, in recent months, again, you have the fake claims with Joe Biggs, who probably has a very questionable background, this Joe Biggs, saying that there was an ISIS base in Mexico. Completely fake. I know someone involved in contract work with the military that investigates threats, Hiram from the San Luis Valley. And he's aware of what he believes to be real ISIS threats. And what Alex Jones was putting out several months ago to a year ago was absolutely false. And so things started building from that point on, from supposed terror attacks and shootings to Alex Jones coming out saying, I don't think this was a false flag. Slowly shifting the narrative like this was before Paris, which, by the way, had drills taking place. So you're not seeing the old Alex Jones emerging, talking about the false flag, talking about the drills, talking about these kids being tortured in front of their parents, things of that nature, Afghanistan, Iraq, victims of war. He certainly doesn't talk about troops going over there that have raped Afghani or Iraqi women. Now we're seeing attacks on women that are wearing the veil. There's a lot of ignorant Muslims that have migrated to this country. Of course, some of them are actually pro-Bush or pro-Obama. Of course, that version of the Muslim you will not see on Fox News, CNN, or MSNBC. And they show fake compassion. They may show Muslims on TV. Where have they been, though, to criticize the drone attacks of the last decade, as they have these Muslims on TV? There's plenty of people right now also wearing the veil that are on TV as actors. They're not genuine, heartfelt people that give a shit about the Middle East. And that's the truth. Humans are humans across the world. And there's a lot of people that have left the Afghani and Iraqi people behind. Many Middle Eastern people, many Muslims that are pro-America, pro-USA, and they don't want to get put into a camp. And I think that Americans, whether you call them, you know, or certain groups that you may identify to be white people, all these labels hold us back from being who we really are. But there's a lot of people out there that don't realize that since 9/11, whole groups of people have been living in fear. So they don't blog or say their true opinion, and I don't think some of them even have a real original thought. I think it's in womankind, mankind's nature to serve systems, be they religious or economic or nationalistically based. Okay. And so whether you're dealing with an Arab, a Persian, a white person, Hispanic, black, just across the board, Asian, most humans follow. I just want to make that clear. They follow, they believe what they're told to believe, and they're led. And it seems like there's lots of programs, evil programs that are working through the internet, that are working through media, that are pushing people in these different directions and telling them this is what you are, this is your religion, this is your race, and this is your enemy over here. Now here's a weapon, go and fight them, or something. And the internet, you know, with Facebook and YouTube, there's tons of disinformation out there. Like, I didn't see this coming this soon. You know, I see this coming clash of civilizations upon the horizon, and a lot of Americans getting hurt, and it not being Muslims doing the killing. Something else is being built up. But right now, I see a massive deception to get Americans to entrap their own souls, to lease their own souls. With Alex Jones and Donald Trump like leading like the way down to this dark place. Now, I always suspected Alex Jones would lead his listeners to a dark place. And many people do agree, those that are still his listeners. Now, after all these years, that aren't thinking for themselves, that are letting him program them, they're not in a good space. Mentally, spiritually, in some cases, physically. I mean, there was a time years ago where there was perhaps a lot more crossover between my work and the work of Alex Jones, including the audience. And it's like there's like the energy, a split happened in recent years, and we have gone in different directions. We've gone in very different directions. And it's also been very good for me. I'm now 35. I'm thinking about the rest of my life ahead of me. I've been involved in the alternative media since I was 23. Also born of mixed race. My mother is white. My father is Middle Eastern. Last name is a Middle Eastern Islamic name, but I'm not a Muslim. So I know what it's like to be a part of the truth movement on my own and see people that would identify themselves to be white and superior to others that I never thought before were actually racial supremacists. Now I understand that whether it's an evil within Alex Jones that's gotten a hold of him, and why Trump is actually doing this, whatever the real reason is. Some people say he's actually a Clinton operative who's here just to throw the fight and make Americans look racist. That could very well be a part of the agenda. Because in my forecast, to again go back to that, it's always been about getting America to attack all these countries. And then Russia, China, and the whole world create this campaign and saying, we've got to intervene and invade that fucking country. And I've always been warning America to get ready because they're planning to come fuck you up. I mean, I'm on record at least since 0809, like they're going to create a campaign because your government is under some sort of spell. It's under control. And they're using America to destroy America. So for years, me and Alex Jones were like this, at least in what we were saying. And now, in hindsight, he spoke a lot of truth. Perhaps like some politicians that people have given a lot of money and faith to because they said the right things during the Bush years and the Obama years to prepare America for what is about to happen. So there was a time where our message, the messages were like this, and then I started to see the split. The spiritual differences between the message of Alex Jones and myself, as well as the, which we'll talk about another time. This isn't the time for that. There's actually ways you can see the patterns to when they pull the false flags. And it's when we have monster solar flares. The reason why that is, why you see monster solar flares around 9/11 and false flag events, is because I speculate on some level, the real elite involved in the dark occult that know human physiology, They know how human beings respond to solar flares and that we can be duped to war because of the boost in testosterone and emotion and energy in the human body. So there's reasons why you see when we're in a solar maximum phase. You know, on average, every 11 years, 7 to 11 years, there's a peak in sunspots, CMEs impacting the Earth's magnetic field. And then you have a period of a minimum where there is the least amount of sunspots or solar flares hitting the Earth's magnetic field. Solar minimum, solar maximum. We're coming out of a solar maximum cycle. And we're about to go into a minimum. Alexander Chavinsky in 1918 discovered a war and peace cycle going back 2,500 years using Chinese sunspot counts and records. And so there's this chart you can look at going 2,000 years, and you see the rise and fall, World War I, World War II, and you're seeing, oh my God, revolutions, protests, civil unrest, sunspots. And so this next solar cycle is going to be starting up around 2021, 2022. And you look at the real world preparations for war. China's Navy will be ready to come to the West Coast. North Korea will be ready to assist them with their atomic nuclear weapons program. Russia is going to be even more popular at that point. There's already a meme going around that Putin should be the president of the United States. And in 2008, type in Leon Legant, Alex Ansary, and you'll find my interview with a guy that had visions and dreams of America being invaded. Way back then, and even prior. I mean, he really started having the dreams when he was 10. And in those dreams, Putin was a world populist hero. But in disguise, he had the spirit of the Antichrist. Leon's not the only one to have a prophetic dream about Putin playing a oppressive role of the American people at some point. And that's how I see all this building up to. So everything's building and building up to America, like killing a whole bunch of people at once. And then Putin literally rising out of these ashes, and probably Alex Jones becoming even more popular on the world stage, maybe with people from around the world, you know, maybe even Russians even, maybe even some Chinese. But more Americans are waking up to the Alex Jones deception. And as I said before, I think the old Alex Jones really warned us in a way about the new Alex Jones. Something happened along the way, and I really noticed a shift in him spiritually. Between the period that he made the in-game film, and I believe that when you focus on, like you know, he talks about when you look into the abyss, be careful or you can become the abyss. It's funny because that's exactly what I think happened to him. And I think that we're not alone in this universe. You probably should know that about my views, that we're not alone and we can be influenced towards certain deceptions and evil and anti-human philosophies, nihilism. And I believe that talk show hosts, and I've known a few of them in my life, and I believe that I've been attacked as well spiritually. We can come under attack because we're out there speaking to people. And the mischievous spirits that are out there, call them demons, call them archons, they love to control the co-opted talk show host because they love to keep people in fear. They love to program people through the media. If it leads to a genocide, if it leads to people getting hurt, getting raped, countries being invaded. And so the media is a massive tool of the dark forces. I mean, there are ways that human beings can be mind controlled towards total hate like never before. And they can use subliminals and other forms of technology to covertly rape people's minds at this point. At this point, there's no doubt in my mind that Alex Jones is working for the dark side. For years, I had reservations. Now, with Alex Jones doing this, I know Alex Jones knows better. He knows that there was something more to 9/11, even if, everything that he brought up in his films may not have been the most accurate. There's a reason he doesn't say Bush signed 1999999I. He used to cite certain things in his films and in his radio shows over and over and over and over, and then he stopped citing certain things that he may have gotten a little bit wrong or incorrect. Or maybe he stopped citing those facts for other reasons that we don't know. But again, the old Alex Jones is very different than the new Alex Jones. What kind of Alex Jones? The type of person that would violently scream. And then I also was influenced by him and also grabbed a bullhorn and forcibly screamed that 9/11 was an inside job. In my hometown, I took lots of shit for years for having any association to the truth movement or Alex Jones by mirroring the 9/11 was an inside job meme with the megaphone in my hometown of Portland, Oregon, a place I no longer live, a place that has been taken over by the social zombie apocalypse. See my Real Portlandia episode for more information about that. But to see him do that and then not call Donald Trump out when Trump says he predicted Osama bin Laden. No. For years, Alex Jones made the claim that he predicted 9/11, and then we have that clip. And then for years, he would say that, and he would say to people, I predicted 9/11. And then you have Trump that will take your thunder, cut off your balls, and say, I predicted Osama bin Laden hit the towers. And then you have that look on your face like you're telegraphing that you work for them. On top of it, Alex Jones, you've openly let us know several times, for those of us that have the sight, the eyes to see and ears to hear, we can see the evil around you. And I guess for years people have really debated about which conspiracy about you is the most accurate. And I think that there's a lot of wild goose chases that many people have gone on. But I'm going to wrap up this video now pretty soon and then come back with more. Alex Jones is here to play a part in the race war. There's no longer any doubt in my mind. And this whole thing with the Muslim hysteria is a stepping stone to something larger. And so he plays a role in the shooting off of the kneecaps of America in a way that he accused the others in Wall Street, the politicians, the cops. He's accused all of them of playing like screaming like you're helping create this world your children will live in. Like that's what Alex Jones. What about Alex's kids? You're helping sell out this country. You're promoting Russia. You're minimizing the reality of the real Red Dawn. You're calling the supposed Islamic invasion Red Dawn now. In a recent video of yours. It's far worse than what I thought years ago. At the back of my mind, okay, so is Alex working for Russia, or is he just convoluted in his mind and he just hates this country so much that he thinks Putin's God, that he thinks Russia is the opposite system, that he thinks they're the good cop in this good cop, bad cop scenario, when it's all bad cops and it's all bad and it's all evil. It's all evil. There's no good cop, bad cop there. Alex Jones knows better and is here to bring Russia up in the popular eye. Having said that, he can also turn around in a draft situation and get either people into the military to fight the Chinese, to fight the enemy, because all this war with China is staged. I've always seen a populist president of some type assume the thrones. If it's going to be anything like the past, we could see Trump play that role, that Republican military-industrial complex role, if he's in this to win this and not just play a destabilization of the American image role, which is a very important role. You go out there, you act racist, you show the world that there's a bunch of racists in America that are all about Muslims and camps. That's enough to kick America's image in the nuts. And so that's a big part of the info war in and of itself, to kick America's image in the nuts and convince your followers, because that's what your listeners are now. Your listeners are no longer listeners. Your real listeners and your real viewers already left. Now you literally have followers and cult members that believe that you are telling them the truth. You made the statement. You made the statement on your show. 90% of your audience loves Trump. You did that as you gave Trump a hand job. See, I don't need to talk about the dude's divorce. I don't need to talk about the drug use allegations. I don't need to talk about other dirt. We don't need to get, is this person Jewish or Israeli in this conversation? But other observers are free to. Because at this point, with what he's doing now, I would say that perhaps we do need to look a little closer at certain things. But really, this is the bigger issue. I don't see how anyone in their right mind could say that it is okay for Alex Jones to promote race war theology. For those that are saying, we're not promoting a race war because Islam is not a religion. Listen, we're in a world of hysteria where Sikhs have been killed. We're in a world of hysteria where people are afraid of who might be a Muslim based on their race or appearance. And I've dealt with things in my own life. I've also talked about those things. I've also seen people call me a liar. So the multi-dimensional aspect of the denial and heartlessness I've experienced. And that's why I'm giving this attention. I'm giving this topic airtime. Because you're not going to see other Americans, either in the regular media or the independent media or the alternative media, independent alternative media. You're rarely going to see this perspective. I'm shocked at this point. I'm shocked to see so many people out there that act like they're aware of the New World Order. People that have put out, even Jeff Rentz, that they don't realize that they themselves are being duped. I mean, Jeff Rentz is just flabbergasted that there's a Syrian woman coming over with makeup. Middle Eastern women wear makeup. Just because Americans say it's not Islamic doesn't mean that there really aren't Muslims out there that wear makeup that might do things that are less than Islamic, just like supposed Christians. I mean, they've been taught that they're all trying to live as perfect fundamentalist radical Muslims. And that is bullshit. Radical Islam, as it exists today, is a creation of the West. The Islamic State, or ISIS, which has killed more Muslims than non-Muslims, is a creation of Western factions and influences and banks. Funny how Alex Jones promotes Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz openly admits his wife works for Goldman Sachs. I didn't see this deception, folks, coming years ago. I thought that, if we would see a deception from Alex Jones, it would be like a lot more obvious. Like he would stage his own death, or he would encourage Americans to go into the draft, or to fight the coming world war, or to fight the government, to have a war with the government. He has alluded to violence towards cops in past episodes. He toned the fuck down, probably after a visit from the FBI. Who knows? But I have to talk about this. If I don't, who's going to? I think that this is a very important period for healing, where people can look at potentially how they may have been mind controlled by Alex to believe that the end is near, so that they never go off grid, so that they never start their own website, so that they never start their own YouTube channel. They just watch Alex because they believe that Alex Jones has all the information. The question also comes up, how much time do we have now, before the shit hits the fan? With Alex Jones telegraphing that he is consumed by the dark side at this time. And in agreement with a man that wants to put people in camps, create a Islamic database, kick all Muslims out of the country, And this whole thing, the call to put all Muslims in camps, it's coming. It's coming. Whether it happens or not, I don't know. But the call for it is coming. Imagine how Gary Franchi makes Camp FEMA, along with someone else that recently passed. But Gary Franchi being for the Trump train, being on the Trump train, on the Trump bandwagon. And these are people that have talked about FEMA camps, internment of American cities, of American citizens for years, scaring Americans, saying this all is being built for you, only to turn around and be okay for others to be demonized and feared, to put out information that would go in the favor of, let's put all these people in their own little zone. After all, they deserve it. They're Muslim. And then to put out a narrative that 4 out of 10 believe in ISIS theology. That is total bullshit. But if you study propagandamatrix.com, if you glance over now at prisonplanet.com or infowars.com, these are not the same websites that they were last year or the year before. Anyways, my voice is a little hoarse. I understand this video was long. I really needed to say all of that. But what I really need to do is keep talking about this. I need to keep talking about this. And I need to create a playlist. And I need to go deeper into Alex Jones, the top sociopath of the alternative media. And not delist the videos, but actually put it out there and really get a dialogue going with other people that are seeing this develop. Because most people that are Alex Jones critics, they're unable to see beyond their own conspiracy theory that he's a Vatican assassin Jew. And they just go on this rant about Jews in Israel, and it really doesn't go anywhere coherent to encompass the larger picture. And there is a larger picture than Israel. The world does not all revolve around Israel. I know what they're doing. I know about the invasion in Gaza. It's not the only thing taking place in the planet. Israel and intelligence agencies within Europe, or something to that effect, or within our own country, they are not the only potential string pullers over Alex Jones. It's a world of 7 billion people, and then some, and then some. We are not alone in the universe. I don't care how crazy this sounds. We are in a petri dish. We are in some sort of genetic experiment. All of this micropolitic bullshit is just shit happening down here at this level. It's not all that's going on. You in no way have all the information at your fingertips as to all the different groups, potential nefarious groups, be they human or not, operating here on the earth. So even within man-made intelligence groups, don't act like the CIA is the only thing on the planet, or Stratfor and Israel. Alex Jones works for something or someone. What that is yet to be discovered. But for now, there is a Alex Jones deception rising, like the phoenix, the order out of ashes, in this archonic inverted world where up is down, down is up. In the ultimate bait and switch, you're about to see where Alex Jones is going to take this. I'm Alex Ansary, coming to you from northern New Mexico.